Okay, so in this course creation class, we are going to talk all things tech. Heads up, these are normally live with a live audience. This one is recorded because I always forget to press record on the important ones and then I have to re-record them. Anyway, so course creation class and getting your course online is what we're about to chat about today. And the reason that we're doing this is because often when I talk to people about an online course, people have content, right? Content's not always the issue. Sometimes you've got too much content or breaking it down is a problem or knowing what to put where, and I get it, like that's all the issue. But for a lot of people who I work with, they've been doing what they do for a long time. They know their stuff. They've got plenty of things they could put in a course. But when you start to talk about the tech, it freaks them out a little bit. Knowing what's the right platform, what's the right plugin, what to put where, and I get it. It's ever changing. The industry updates all the time. Things are on the move. So that's why we're talking about this today. In this class, we're going to talk about three things. We're going to talk about the different types of course tech you can use. There are three main strategies that you can use when it comes to course tech. We're going to talk about those. We're going to talk about the pros and cons, and specifically of using your website. I'm also going to talk about the pros and cons of two different platforms as well. But a lot of people who I talk to don't know whether it's worth putting it on their website or not, and talk about that. At the end, I'm going to give you a really short cultivated list of options that might suit you. I'm a big advocate for there isn't one fits all when it comes to one size fits all approach when it comes to courses. I see a lot of people who talk about courses saying, I use this platform, you must use this platform. And it doesn't work that way. Your course might be different from the courses I've run. You might need different functionality. You might need different things. There isn't one, definitely, but I am going to give you a short list so that you can go and have a look at a couple of options and make a decision rather than being overwhelmed by the hundreds of things that might be available. So that's what we're talking about today. If you're joining this from somewhere else, if you've landed on my list recently, or if you're checking this out on YouTube somewhere, then I'm Sam Winch. Yes, if you say my name too fast, I sound like a lunchtime food. I've just had to embrace that. That is what it is. I've been facilitating and teaching face-to-face or online for over 16 years now. Please don't count, it makes me feel very old. I've been then developing course content and online course material for the past 10 years, so for the past decade. As you can imagine, quite a lot has changed in that time, but I've seen some really good changes in the industry and some good growth. So I'm going to share all my experience with you and what that means in today's market as well. Plus, I've run lots of other different business models. So I've had an e-commerce store, I've run an events business, I've run coaching, of course, and service-based businesses as well. And the reason I tell you that is because I honestly believe that courses can work for any type of business model. If you've got e-commerce, you can use courses to support your clients just as much as you can in a service-based business model. But I've got the experience to back that up as well. I'm not just talking out of my ass. So that's enough about me. You probably know who I am. Let's start with the three main ways that you can put your course online. So there are three types of course tech, really. Now, this is really broad, but it helps people see the differences. So the first kind of thing is a course marketplace. Now, course marketplace is somewhere like Udemy or Skillshare. You've probably can hear the dog barking in the background. Leila, stop. Apologies. So there are three types. A course marketplace, you've seen lots of them, right? Udemy, Skillshare. It's somewhere where you can upload your course and it goes into a generalized marketplace and hundreds of people can buy it, or thousands of people, or hundreds of thousands of people. These platforms are big, right? With a course marketplace, you upload your content to their site, so you don't need to worry about the tech on your website or anything. The content goes on there and they have an open marketplace. Now, you will still need to market and advertise your course because while they have lots of traffic, they're going to be driving traffic to their site and to lots of courses in general, not necessarily to your course. So you will need to do some of the marketing, but it does open you up to having lots of different people buy your course that might not have been available to you beforehand. Before we go any further, some of the pros with this is all the tech is done for you and there's a huge marketplace of customers waiting for you. Some of the cons are that you are then completely reliant on their do's and don'ts, their rule set, there are so many things you need to check out with these platforms before you put your content there. So for example, with Udemy, they control the price point. You might have a $1,000 course and they can discount it to a $10 sale, right? They also keep a large chunk of the money. Last time I looked with Udemy, I think they keep about 40%. So if you've got a course going out for $10 and they're keeping $4 or $5 of that, you're getting $5 for your course content, which isn't necessarily great. Plus then you're going to pay service fees. The other thing to think about as well is the students don't join your list. They sign up for Udemy, they belong to Udemy's list. They might take your course, they get to learn your stuff, you get some cash for it, but they don't join your list, you don't get their details, they're not your client, they're Udemy's client, you just get paid for your content. So there are definitely some pros and cons with that. Think about it carefully before you put your course there. Now, the other two things are things that both my clients have used in the past and probably ones that I would recommend more than the first. So the first is a course platform. That's somewhere where the tech is already done for you and you just get to go and upload your course. And then there's a course plugin, and this will belong on your website and you're in control. So with a course platform, there are some really common ones around. You might have heard of Thinkific, Teachable, or recently I've just fallen in love with MemberVault, and we'll talk more about that in a sec. The other way you can do it then is with a course plugin, and that goes onto your website. And some great options for that are LearnDash and Access Alley. Now, there are pros and cons, and we're going to talk about more of these on the next slide, so I'll take you through that. But it's worth bearing in mind that these three options are out there, because I get a lot of people come to me and just go, I want to build a course and it's going to go on my website. But they haven't really thought about what that means and whether that's good or bad, or whether they really want it on their website. They've just been told that build a course and put it on your website, right? So there are other options. Before you make a decision, decide what you want from your course. So if it's your big pillar stone, thousands of dollars worth of course, have a think about that. Do you want that going on a generalized marketplace? Do you want people taking that on another platform? Or do you want ownership and complete customization of your course content on your site? All right, there's things to think about. And if nothing else, think about what you feel comfortable with. Like, are you really comfortable with tech and happy to add plugins to your website and to mix things around, or are you not? So let's talk about the other two in more details. First of all, course platforms. So I mentioned these two before. They are two of my favorite at the moment, and I want to give you options for these just so you can go and have a look at if they suit you. The first is Teachable. So you might be familiar with it. The second is MemberVault. They are similar, but they are different. So I'll talk you through some of the differences. But with the course platform, all of the tech work is done for you. So they host everything. You upload your content, you upload your videos, you upload your files, you run your sales through their channel. So although you can have a separate sales page, ultimately the money runs through their platform. And then you run your course through there as well. So students sign in through there. Now, with both of these platforms, they are customizable, so you can change colors of headers, you can add logos, that sort of thing. But ultimately, it will always look and feel a bit like the platform does. And this is some of the downsides. So the downsides to using a course platform, with the upsides being it's easy, the downside is it will always look and feel a little bit like someone else's site. You can definitely customize all sorts of bits, but the structure of the page won't change. Like size and shapes of buttons don't change. So if your website looks and feels a very certain way, then the experience they're going to have on a platform is going to be slightly different, just because it's going to look and feel like the platform and not like your site. That's not a problem necessarily. It's just something you need to be aware of when you make your decision. Some other things to think about is they can have restrictions about what goes on here. So some sites have restrictions about what you can and can't sell through this. It's always worth reading the terms and conditions before you sign up. The other thing is you have to look at the way they process money and the way they process emails. So this is where some of the differences come in. A platform like Teachable, which runs a lot of courses, your payments go through Teachable. So if a student signs up and pays you $100 for your course, that $100 goes through Teachable's sales platform, and then it sits. They hold it for the period of refunds. So if you've got a 30-day refund period, and they have a refund period built in where you have to offer refunds, they hold that money until the refund period is finished in case anyone asks for their money back, and then they'll send it to the provider you've asked, so that might be PayPal. As part of that, they will take their cut, so they might charge a monthly fee, but they might also take a cut of the payment, and then PayPal will take a cut of the payment, and then you'll finally get the leftovers. So it's worth thinking about when it comes to cash flow. It might be great, you're building this big course, you're getting a heap of students coming in, but you might not see that cash. Not only during that sales period, you're not going to see it then, but you're not going to see it for another 30 days after the course has started as well. And that's really important to know. If you're relying on that money for, investing in other services or just, paying your damn mortgage, you need that cash and you want to know where it's going. The other thing is Teachable sends emails through its platform, so you can email your students with login details. You can tell them when the next module comes out. You can tell them all sorts of things. Now, MemberVault is slightly different. MemberVault does allow you to build courses and stuff just like Teachable does, so it's really handy in that way. A couple of other things I love about MemberVault though, it's got some really good built-in gamification. So you can build quizzes and all sorts of things, but they score experience points for the way they interact So if they do the lessons, they get XP points. If they fill in the quiz, they get experience points. You can then have bonus modules that are unlockable based on experience points. So they can pay 100 experience points to unlock bonus content. That's a really cool way to give people extra stuff, but encourage them to do the other stuff on the way through. The other thing with Member Vault is it doesn't take the money for you. So it links to your existing payment gateway. That might be PayPal or Stripe, or you can hook it up with something like Thrivecart, and the payment goes through that. So they don't touch the money. You pay them the fee to use their site, but they don't touch your sales in any way, which means that they come to you as fast as they were going to come to you, and you're only giving someone a cut. So you only give the cut to PayPal or Stripe or whoever. You don't give it to the platform as well. Something to consider though is they don't send emails. Now they've done that purposely, partly because emails come best through your email service provider. That way they get to the right people, they look and feel right. Email service providers do that well. So they've tried not to build functionality in that's being done somewhere by someone else. But it's worth bearing in mind. So you'll need to integrate it with your email software. That might be ConvertKit or ActiveCampaign or whoever you're using, but you will need something like that because the platform doesn't do it for you. So whereas with something like Teachable, you can get away without an email service carrier, with Member Vault, you will need one. I will give you links and details to both of these further down. I'm a big fan of both, but and you'll see the image on the right is my personal Member Vault page. I've just started putting a whole bunch of new things on there. What's really cool is they let you have a completely free account up to the first 50 users. So they don't charge you at all. You can be charging thousands for the courses on there and they won't take anything. You use it completely for free until you get 50 users. So worth going in and having a look at. I am a paid member anyway, but that's where I'm putting my content at the moment. And I think it's only fair that I tell you guys where I'm putting my stuff. So next, using your website. There's a quote on the right here, and there's a reason it's here. And it says, be happy with what you have while working for what you want. And I say this because a lot of people come to me and they go, I want to put it on my website, which is great. But often that's a little bit harder than people realize. It can be, doesn't have to be, or it takes a little bit longer than people realize. Often with clients, I get them going on a course platform somewhere first with a small course, and then we save their website for a bigger core pillar piece of course later. So if they're running a $29 or $39 course, we can quite easily stick that on a course platform somewhere, get them going, get them generating some income, and then we can build bigger $1,000 courses later and we can put that on their website. So pros and cons. Pros of putting it on your website. You are completely in control. It's your branding, it's your customization, it's your payment gateway, it's your email marketing. Nothing is controlled for you. No one forces you to hold money for refunds. Probably a good idea to keep some aside, but no one forces you to. It's yours, right? It's fully customizable. You make it yours. In addition to that, you can make changes at any time. Now, you can do that with course platforms too, but you can't do it with a marketplace like Udemy. There are some more hoops to jump through when it comes to changing your content. Makes it sound really good, right? And it is, but the downsides, it takes longer to get going. So when you use a course platform, all of the tech is done for you. All you need to do is upload your videos or your files and create the payment gateway and off you go. You can have something for sale on a course platform in a couple of hours. Honestly, like put aside a couple of hours in the morning. If you've got your content ready, you can be up and selling by lunchtime. It takes a little bit longer on a website. You got to install your plugin. You've got to find the plugin you want to use. I'm assuming you feel comfortable with the tech, then you've got to do all the settings. You've got to set up everything. You've got to upload everything. You can't upload video really or audio to your website because it's going to put too much content on your website. So you need to get hosting from somewhere else, maybe a Vimeo or something. So there's a lot more going on. And because of that, it takes longer to get started. Now, this is not a bad thing if you're planning in advance for a course that's happening in 6 months' time or even 3 months' time, but you do need to plan in advance for putting something on your website because it will take time. It also costs more upfront. So with a lot of those platforms, you're going to be paying just by the month or by the user. Services start normally at like $29 or $39 a month US. It's affordable, right? You can get going, you can run your first course, you can start making some cash for $29 or $39. It's easy to get going. Course plugins often cost a bit more. So you're looking at hundreds of dollars US to get started and to buy the plugin to install on your site. Now, it's not thousands, it's definitely affordable, but it does cost more upfront to get started. So if you don't have that kind of cash flow in place, it's going to take you a little while to get it there. Also, if you don't feel comfortable with the tech, you will need to outsource. So when it comes to fiddling around with your website and adding course plugins and setting all the settings and seeing what works and what doesn't, if you don't feel comfortable doing all of that, I strongly recommend you get someone else to do it for you. Now, if you've got a web developer or designer who feels comfortable with course material, you can ask them. or you come and see someone like myself who deals with online courses all the time. But don't go poking and prodding, because I've broken my website many a time by causing conflicts between course plugins and other plugins that are already on websites. Not all plugins play nicely with everything else, so it's a risk, right? And if you don't feel comfortable taking that risk, then get someone else to do it for you. If you do feel comfortable taking that, please back up first before you install course plugins and start messing around with your site, because the last thing you want to do is for everything to crash and not to have a backup. Now, I don't tell you this to scare you, although it might be a little bit scary. I tell you this because I just want you to be fully aware of what it is to use your website, right? There is more involved. It takes a longer plan. It takes more cash up front. It takes being organized. It's not a problem. Go for gold. It's a really good way. And I'm often a big advocate for using your website, but I want you to be informed before you make the decision, because it is, right? There's a lot of thought to be involved in this. So if you do want something on your website, but you don't think you're at that point yet, validate your ideas. Make sure your audience does want a course. Start with a cheap course, put it on a platform somewhere, start making some money, and then really invest in putting a course on your website and making it work and making it right. And get it done properly, because otherwise what you're going to end up doing is kind of getting a half-assed course on your website. You're going to try and charge $29 for it. You're not going to recoup your original costs for it, possibly. And you're going to be a bit jaded about the whole process. And the last thing I want is people to feel jaded about courses, because obviously I'm a little bit biased, but I do think courses can be a really good source of leveraged income if you're using them wisely. But you've got to think about your options before you just chuck something out there. It's not as easy as going, I'm going to make a course. I'm going to chuck it online. It's going to sell millions overnight while I sleep, right? Sorry, guys, it doesn't work. So my recommendations here. Now I'm going to put 6 things on here. I will, for anyone who signed up for this, I will send you a PDF with all of this and the pros and cons for each, so you can see why. It's not an easy decision, right? If anyone tells you that you just must use platform A or platform B or plugin A or plugin B, ask why they're telling you that. One, maybe they're an affiliate, and I am an affiliate. I will be completely honest. For most of the services I recommend, I am an affiliate, because it makes logical sense to me. If I'm going to promote something I love, then I may as well be an affiliate with them and do it properly. But if they're just promoting one thing, I would say that they're probably in bed with that company. The other thing is, it's normally then the only thing they have experience in. So if they're telling you that you must use platform A, it's probably because they use platform A for their course and it worked well, so they're telling you to use it. It doesn't mean that they understand the pros and cons of all the platforms and that this one is best. It just means that that's what they've got experience in. So before you make a decision, take anyone's advice with a grain of salt. And if they're not giving you options, ask why. Because there are thousands of options out there. Now, because there are thousands of options out there, I'm going to narrow this down a bit. The options that I've got on screen that I'll talk through in a moment for you are not the only things available, right? There are plenty of things that you can use, and you are very welcome to go and Google them and to try. I have personal experience with all of these, plus about a dozen more. So if these don't suit you, I'm happy to recommend other options that might suit you. But I don't want to just send you out and say Google course plugin or course platform, because you will be overwhelmed. There are so many out there that it's almost impossible to say. If you want to build on your website and you want more of a membership style, so that's that they get access to a dashboard with lots of content at the same time. This might be drip fed, it might not. There's definitely ways to build courses in these as well, but they function really well as membership sites. Then you're going to look at something like MemberPress or Wishlist Member. Now I run Wishlist Member, or have done run Wishlist Member on my personal website. It was really handy for building membership platforms. I have drip fed course content through it. You can do it, but it's a little bit more fiddly than a course plugin. MemberPress is really great. With MemberPress, you just set up a bunch of rules. So you just say, this material needs to be secret, or this material needs to be accessed only by these people, and then it does all that for you. So both of those will create an area for you on your website which is accessed by username and password only. We'll issue usernames and passwords to people who go through the system that you've asked them to go through, and then we'll keep all of your content safe for you. They can be used to drip feed content. They're not quite as good at it as other services, but they are very good at creating membership portals. If you want to build a drip fed course, so you want your content to go out week by week or month by month or whatever it might be, then course plugins are definitely useful. I'm a big fan of Access Ally. Now it is a little bit more expensive than some of the other plugins, but you get a whole heap of extra features. So it's really good at tracking where your users are up to. It's really good at drip feeding content, makes building courses really easy. It's really good at building other functionality in. So you can build quizzes in. You can build certificates in for when they finish at the end. You can build an affiliate platform in. So if you want other people to promote and sell your course, Access Ally has an affiliate dashboard. It solves all of your problems in one plugin, but you pay for the privilege. If that's a bit fancy, you can look for something like LearnDash, and LearnDash is a bit cheaper. It can do some of that fancy stuff as well. Not all of it, but some of it. Like, it can produce certificates off the back end. It's really good at drip feeding content. The only thing I'd say about LearnDash is probably one of my biggest downsides is it's not super pretty. It's built for formalized training. It's what we call an LMS, really, which is a learning management system. It comes from that formal tertiary education world. You can definitely customize your pages and it will install into your existing website, but there's just a certain look and feel about the way it sets up course pages and menus, and it's very formal. All I'm going to say. So yes, I love the functionality. I love what it does. I don't think it's the prettiest of plugins around, but it's super powerful for the price you pay. So there's some really good options for putting on your website. If the information I've shared so far has scared you off putting it on your website completely, or you just want to get started somewhere else for the moment, then, look, I've got a typo on the screen. I apologize in advance. Then my two things that I recommend for off your site is not MemberPress, it's MemberVault or Teachable. Now, as I mentioned, all of my stuff at the moment is going on to MemberVault. I'm new to the platform, but I have fallen in love and I'm putting all of my stuff there now. Just because what they offer in terms of functionality for price point is way above what anyone else is doing. You can put your affiliates there, you can build quizzes in there, you can do all sorts of bits and pieces. Other than that, Teachable, very, very popular, thousands of users, really good at building drip-fed course content. You do have to put slightly more of your stuff through there, so your payments will run through there, but very, very robust at doing what it does, and slightly cheaper per month than MemberVault, but MemberVault will give you your first 50 users for free. Now, I know that's a lot of stuff, so my advice for you from here is, 1, come and join us in the free Content into Courses group if you're not there already. So I have a Facebook group, just in the Facebook search bar, search Content into Courses, and it will pull up the group for you. It's free. We chat all things courses and all things tech, so you can get personalized input rather than just generalized like this is. Come and ask us there. The next thing to do, if you haven't done so already, is decide where you feel comfortable putting your course. So, is it going to sit on your website, or are you going to put it on a course platform somewhere else? And once you've made that decision, then you can start looking at options that specifically meet your needs in terms of functionality. I will send out, and I can link even down below, a PDF with all of the options that I've talked about. I'll go into a little bit more detail for them and list the pros and cons so that you can see which ones I'm using and why. There are other options. Go and use other options if you want, but they're well worth having a look at, and they're tried and tested. I've put other clients in there, and I'm comfortable saying to you that they're good to use. So I think that's all you need to know, really. That's it for now, guys, from this one. As always, the next course creation class will be running shortly. If you're interested, make sure you follow me on Facebook, join the group, or log in somewhere else, sign up for emails, and I will make sure you get all of the details. But if not, I will see you next time. Bye, guys.